Señoras y señores, bienvenidos a Boricua Live Radio Show, a la sección El Punto Caliente con Manuel Ramos y Ben García.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Señoras y señores, bienvenidos al Punto Caliente por aquí por Boricua Live Radio Show, transmitiendo en vivo a través del canal de YouTube todos los jueves a las 7 de la noche. El invitado de esta noche, Big Magic. How you doing, Big Magic?
Everybody.
Thank you.
Doing good. Thank you for letting me be on.
For take your time to be with us in El Punto Caliente, the hotspot.
Thank you, man. I'm sorry I don't speak Spanish, man. I apologize for that.
Don't worry about it.
It's good. It's good. Not everybody's good enough like me to know two languages, right? So
I appreciate you. Yeah, we appreciate
you. I gotta take my first shot, Magic. I like you to me are a brother, a friend, an awesome person towards me, right? I've known you over, let's say, maybe like 20, 25 years now, right? And we've been through it all in wrestling. So it is a pleasure to have you here on my podcast with Manuel Ramos. And let's have some fun. So let's start off with you were trained by a legend in the wrestling business, Iron Mike Sharp. So tell us a little bit how you started and what did you have to do to, get to where you at right now?
All right, between age 15 to 16, maybe 17 years old, I was trained by these guys called the James. We called them the James brothers. They were cousins, and they went to train. They went down to Maine or something. They were training, and they opened a little wrestling thing for the boys. And we know how we are. We became backyarders type of wrestling. So I've been wrestling since then. Then I ran into Pete McKay.
Okay.
And McKay taught me certain ways to wrestle. And then this guy named Pedro that owned the Arena Puerto Rico. So, I was learning, but not learning. You know what I'm saying? I was just the big guy they could throw around and put their kids over. PK saw something in me, but PK wasn't having a wrestling company. I mean, a school. So I ran into Iron Mike Sharp at a show, and I started training really hard with Iron Mike Sharp. Not just Iron Mike Sharp. I went to Gino Garuso school as well.
Okay.
So I've been.
I wrestled for Gino also, and I don't know. I don't really do a lot of business with him, but he's a cool dude too. A lot of respect over there to Gino and ECPW. How long have you had this interest for wrestling? Was it something that was from a child, or it just happened?
Personally, yes. It was when I was a kid. My mother used to watch wrestling. And back in the days, it used to come out on midnight on Channel 9 back in the days on midnight. And remember the UHF, I think it was, UFH? You used to have those
like that. Yeah. I remember watching it too.
I used to watch all the Spanish wrestling on there from Mexico and stuff like that. And they had this company that did kids show. There was a Spanish, it was down in Mexico. And it's like maybe 7 wrestlers. They all changed the outfits. It was beautiful, but it was like corny. It's like what Glow was, but there were 1,000 little kids around them. It was like more a kiddie wrestling show.
Okay, you used to be a wrestler. If you remember, when was your first match? Where and with who?
All right, my first ever match. In front of a big crowd, or just like a kind of backyard type of thing?
No, not backyard.
All right. The biggest show I ever did was called USA, and my first match was against it wasn't Dancing with Dudley. But it was with it was Big 911 when he started. It was at Pro USA. They called 911 Big Al. He was at ECW, and I was I was like in his 20s, the same way I was. I wrestled for him. That's the first time I wrestled in front of like 100 people.
Mhm.
And I felt so weird. You know,
Yeah.
you get those butterflies in your stomach, and all of a sudden you gotta pee. After you pee like twice already, and
I
now it's your
was. I was
time to
actually.
go.
And I was actually gonna ask you, like because it happened to me when I was overseas once, right? I went out and I'm like, all right, well, I was used to wrestling for the IWA in Puerto Rico. We used to get a lot of people, right? And Puerto Rico
Yeah.
is I know you've been there. It's a stressful place to wrestle, right? Like people really believe
Oh.
it and get into it.
Oh
So
yeah.
I was kind of used to it already. I've already been in the business for like 7 years, and when I went overseas and I looked out the curtain, the first I felt like you said, taking a piss. So I had to walk all the way back, and two, I felt like throwing up, and my boys looking at me like, "Yo, what's wrong with you?" I'm like, "I don't know, bro," but it was just I looked out right now, and it was because there
Yeah.
was a lot more people than I was actually used to, right? It was like a really lot more people. So yeah, it does take its toll, right? But even though you have experience, right? Do you still get
Exactly.
those butterflies? Is
Yeah.
it still like that?
I still got that where you gotta go pee at the last minute, like, oh my god, I gotta go pee. It's like the journaling, you're excited, you get ready to go out there. Usually I go to wrestling shows, I'm like, these people don't know who I am. Oh my god, they're not gonna cheer me, they're gonna boo me. You get that feeling
Uh,
like they're gonna say this is boring. You get all that in your mind when you
uh,
go out there, you know. And I always hate my matches.
yeah.
You ever
Why you?
do
uh,
it. Go
mm,
ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
no, no problem. Uh, uh, when you wrestle, you wear a mask or you paint your face.
When I first started, I wore a mask. When I first started, I wore a mask for the last like maybe 10 years. I wore a mask as Magic, and then one
Okay.
day they unmasked me at Jersey All Pro. I was in this group called the Guerrilla Army, and I was the only guy with mask. And they was like, "Nah," they did the racist gimmick, like they only covering your pretty face because they don't want a black man to shine and all that. So they unmasked me on that show.
Ah,
Okay.
And I got a mask, and since then I haven't been wearing a mask. The mask I got is on me is with my real face, and it's kind of scary.
Well, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'd rather see you with the mask on than what I'm looking at right now. But
Well,
it is what it is.
well, let's
So
hope. Let's
magic.
hope you. Go ahead.
I take my shots at you because, like I said at the beginning, me and you are brothers and
Yeah,
wrestlers from way back, right? We
right.
like I said at the beginning, we've been through it all. What do you think about what wrestling has become today than what it was when you started? Can you give us a little bit of insight of what the differences are and what you see?
Totally is a lot different than I used to wrestle. Back in the days, you had to take down the ring, you had to put the ring up, you had to put miles on your car. It wasn't given to you. You some of these kids go to practice for 3 months and all of a sudden they're professional wrestlers. There always been ticket sellers in my life. Those ticket sellers back in the days they used to throw them in the battle royal. And those guys used to sell like 100 tickets. That's the only way you get in the ring with us. And when you get in the
Okay.
ring with a professional wrestler, you're gonna pay your dues. Especially if you're just a ticket seller. They do go home hurt. But
Yes,
yeah,
they do.
nowadays kids don't even want to put the ring up or take the ring down. They just want to come in and just go home. Put out their money and talk shit about they get paid that much and they're better than this guy. So it's a whole different story now. Like I said, man, when I went to school, you had to at least put a year in before they even
Uh-huh.
think about a wrestling show. I've been retrained twice. When I started from the backyards and I went to Pete McKay's and learned. I learned, and that was another. And I ain't really learned from Pete McKay, but I got to learn something from Pete McKay. And then I went to the Reno, Puerto Rico. I ain't learned much of them there, but when I got to Iron Mike Sharp in Gino, it took me another year to rebuild myself because I had to learn, I had to think. You know, doing moves after moves don't mean nothing.
Uh-huh. So do you think it was you were fine tuning when you got to Gino and Iron Mike Sharp? You had to like fine
yes,
tune what you already had did.
yes, yes. I
Okay.
had to learn the psychology of wrestling. You
Okay.
know, kids going in, they do 1,000 flips and that's it. But where's the wrestling at most of the time now?
Uh-huh.
If you're a gymnast, it's great for you. You know what I mean? But sometimes you got to put some wrestling in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Now,
because
now you throw a clothesline, the guy's doing a flip backwards back, so you really don't contact him that much.
uh-huh.
I think you get
Yeah,
like 3 or 4 hits on them, and the whole match is over after that.
yeah, now they
I'm
go directly. There's no chain wrestling.
nah,
There's no showing, right? And it's the psychology of wrestling. And then there's no showing the audience and the people that pay money to see us wrestle. There's no showing them who's the good guy and who's the bad guy. It's directly into the match and let's go, right? So people sometimes, and don't get me wrong, a true professional fan knows who's the bad guy and who's not the bad guy, right? So
right.
they kind of just by looking at them, they could identify that. But in the psychology of wrestling, there's certain steps. Me and Manuel went through the 7 steps of wrestling, right? Which is, the shine and the comeback and the cutoff and all that stuff that, we explained
Right.
all that. But that to us is kind of like our Bible, would you say, right? Like that's
Exactly.
like those are the 7 commandments of how to do a match. And if you don't have those elements, it really isn't wrestling, right?
Right. You don't even see lockups no more.
Uh-huh.
You don't see power of strength no more.
Yep.
You very rarely see somebody throw a bill. You're in the corner, they toss you out of the corner, they call the bill. You rarely see that no much, You see
Yeah.
more super kicks in the world than I ever seen in my life.
And what that does is that makes Shawn Michaels uncredible, right? Because right now Shawn Michaels just had to hit you once with it and you were done. And then now these kids today, they want to hit you so many times with it that they mess up the final moves, right? Like the signature moves that people really have to believe.
Yo, I went to a show, right? I'm not going to knock it. I'm not going to say the name of the company. But I went to a show. It was a 4-way dance. And
Uh-huh.
it was a super kick at the super kick at the super kick at the super kick. It was just super kicking in a circle. It was like a circle. And I'm like, how many super kicks is this guy going to take before they fall down? And then they all super kicked each other at the same time and they all fall down. And I was like, that don't make sense.
And it
It's like,
doesn't, but
it's,
it's the high spot, right? And everything
it's,
today in wrestling
yeah,
is a spot.
you gotta have a high spot. Yep. It's like in wrestling, you get your ass beat with it. You go through tables, chairs, and then it takes one roll up to take the pin. A
To
lousy
beat
roll up
you. Yeah.
to beat you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You
And
know,
and and and, and don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes a little roll up like that is a I got you moment, and this is gonna be continued later on, right? And right
yeah.
there, kind of like I could believe it, but
Yeah.
just a match
But
that you just do, and that's the finish to it. It's like it doesn't really make sense.
you suplex me off the top rope, right? I'm selling. You go for a pin, I punch out. You pop me
Uh
with a chair, I kick out. Throw me in the corner, I hold on the corner, then you do a roll up and I don't kick out. That makes
huh.
sense? It
No, it
really don't
doesn't.
make sense. A fucking lousy roll up after you beat me with a chair, threw all these super kicks, suplexes, and a lousy roll up.
Uh huh.
After you kick out of all of those, A roll up you can't get out.
Manuel, ¿tienes algo que preguntar?
Okay, when you was a wrestler, you was a heel.
I started as a heel. Yes,
Okay,
I
I have a
hated
question.
to be a baby face.
Okay, I have a question. You have
Yeah.
a bad experience with a fan when you in a match?
Oh, yo, the worst spot I had was when I went to Puerto Rico, and I didn't have a chance to stay there. I got in the ring. They told me grab the mic, say whatever I wanted to say, and I don't speak Spanish, but they understood what I said. I screamed that, oh, it's so awesome! I finally made it to Puerto Rico, and I turned around and said, wow, I never knew there was so many Dominicans that run Puerto Rico. Because I turned around and said the real Puerto Ricans are in the Bronx, and all I did is get hit in the face with I got hit with something, and they were throwing and they escorted me out, and they took me to the airport. I didn't even go to the hotel room. I went straight to the airport,
Mhm.
and I had to sleep at the airport and get on the next plane. They already
Yeah,
had it set for me. They
yeah.
was like, "You're going to get killed."
The fans in Puerto Rico
You,
they take it serious.
yeah, they said you're going to die, bro. They came and grabbed
Yeah.
me out of the ring. I went with Iron My Sharp. So Iron
Oh,
My
okay.
Sharp said, "Hey, I got a spot for you, right?" And I'm wrestling some babyface dude. I really don't remember his name because we didn't get to wrestle, and we talked a little bit, but
Okay.
he had broken down English, but we know the signs. You know what I'm saying? Went
Uh-huh.
through the signs and stuff, blah blah blah, and they had other guy that was telling what to do, and I think it was Carlos' son, one of his sons was
Okay.
like with the translator. He said, "You need to go out there, be a hill, put this kid over." And I
Oh,
said,
okay.
"Okay." So you let me grab the mic, a live mic, and I said, "Okay." And that was the
See,
worst thing I ever did. I never been back there, but I went back there maybe 3 years ago.
Okay.
But I never went back there for the last 10 years after that. So they told me I would die.
So I mean, if you ever go back to Puerto Rico, all I got to do is make a call and get you jumped. Is what you're telling me.
yeah, that's what
I
you
don't
do.
know. I don't know. The motherfuckers are old now. They're about
I'll
80,
be
90
there
years
with
old.
you, bro. I'll be there with you. I'm not gonna leave you alone in
But
Puerto Rico. Don't worry about it.
You know
but it
what?
was just
When
they
things
take
that
it serious.
happen, it's because you do a good job when that thing happen.
Exactly. I just didn't get to wrestle. I got to
Uh-huh.
throw a stick and it's time for you to go. That's all I heard. And they kept screaming at me in Spanish. It was like four wrestlers. You gotta go. You gotta go. And it was like, yo, there's a car out there, and this car was sitting out there. They had my bag ready for me, and I didn't even go to the hotel room. They took me right
That's
to the
crazy.
airport, and the guy was like, "Yo, we had to get you out of there." And I said, "What up?" And he's like, "Nah, they were gonna kill you, bro. You do not call Puerto
Yeah.
Rican.
Yeah.
You do
I
not
tell
call
people
Puerto
all the
Ricans
time, right? Like
Dominican."
I tell people all the time, you can wrestle anywhere on this earth, anywhere. But you go to Puerto Rico to wrestle, man, and it's just a different vibe. It's
Right.
exciting. It's dangerous, right? Because if you do your job the way you're supposed to do it, and they really get pissed at you, right? They're gonna react. Like you could
Yo,
guarantee that these people are gonna react, right? Like for example, in Japan, there was moments that I did something, and they're just sitting there like, and
yeah,
I'm
they're
like,
quiet there.
and they're quiet. They don't really do anything. And then when you do something that they're
No,
interested in, they go,
no reaction.
Yeah,
"Oh," and I'm
but
like,
now
"What?"
now Japan is more Americanized, and you gotta say they're like I call like the Rocky of Russian. First they're quiet, and then
Okay,
all of a sudden they get excited because you're doing something great. Now they're behind you.
yeah,
But that's how Japan is now. They're not like they used to be. They'll sit there and yeah, all right, and whistle for you. Now
uh
they're
huh,
in it. They're in it
okay,
because it's the way it is now. They be woo, yeah, woo. That's the greatest feeling when you hear everybody go ooh.
uh huh. Oh, because to them doing that is is their way of screaming like they do here, right? Like, um, so
I went to
Magic,
Turkey with.
I got a couple of things. You said earlier about Jersey All Pro Wrestling, right?
Yeah,
That's a company in the Indies that is a prime company, right? Like a
it's
lot of
like
people
the
go
Ring of
there
Honor,
and they get their chances. They get to do certain things that wrestlers
and they
do
become.
that you
Yep,
don't get somewhere else, right? So
yep.
can you tell us a little bit about what Jersey All Pro Wrestling did for you?
Well, Jersey All Pro was a school by Fat. Well, Jersey All Pro was a company by Fat Frank. It used to be called Garden State Wrestling at first. It was Frank had so
Okay.
many names, and he met up with a guy named Jeff, right? Jeff and Pierre, and they built this bingo hall. People made fun of the
Okay.
bingo hall, like, oh, y'all monthly wrestlers, but that bingo hall became the famous Jersey All Pro. It became a culture with Jersey All Pro.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta think about it. King Kong Bunny was there, Dan Severn was there. Um, what's his name? The hell, Suicide, General Suicide, Sabu.
Okay.
We had we had the tough enough guys in there. Um, we had Devin Storm. We had Sid Vicious. All those guys that made fun of Jersey All Pro all came in.
Okay.
So you gotta think about it. Jersey. I mean, ECW teamed up with Jersey All Pro for their first anniversary show. So you
Yeah,
had
I think they
Rob Van
did. Yeah, they
Dam.
did something together, right?
You remember New Jack was in Jersey All Pro. Homicide was in
Time out.
Jersey All.
This New Jack. All right, keep going.
Yeah, Crazy Black New Jack. Yes, not you. Um,
Man, if only you
um,
knew, Magic.
dude, it was like Rob Van Dam was in there. A lot of guys went through Jersey All Pro.
Uh
The
huh.
mega stars we call them. They were at that time. They all went through, and that's what made Jersey All Pro great. Everybody used to make fun of Jersey All Pro,
Okay.
but you got
Well,
all the the first person ever wrestled in Jersey All Pro came to America was KO.
okay.
Sammy, what you call him?
Uh
Sammy's
huh.
in WWF. Their first
Sami
American show,
Zayn.
yeah, their first American
Okay.
show were Jersey All Pro,
Okay.
and he even said it.
Dude, I actually wrestled Sami Zayn in Puerto Rico. I want to say like 2002, three around there. And he was still coming out as Generico.
Believe so,
Remember when he
yes.
used to come out with a mask?
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
well, he went to a company down there in Puerto Rico that I was a hardcore champion for, and I actually got a chance to wrestle with him and have that opportunity, right? And a lot of times, those moments of you having that opportunity to be in the ring before, right? Because Damian Priest wrestled Damian
Right,
Priest like three or four times in Puerto Rico, right?
right,
And they were youngsters. Now these people are he's heavyweight champion. Sami Zayn has the Intercontinental Championship, and right, and for you to sit and say at some point in my career my path crossed those people's path, right,
right,
and it shows, I guess, the growth of a wrestler, right, because at some point in your life you're going to wrestle somebody who's going to make it and be something big,
right.
right? Have you had that opportunity to wrestle somebody that at the end of the day, when you were watching something, you were like, oh shit, I wrestled that dude, and now he's a heavyweight champion or something?
Come on, man. You wrestled the same guy. You helped train the same guy, Santana.
Santana, exactly.
Yeah, you helped bring him up. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
so,
Yeah,
and
yeah. You got to.
I took my days, man. I was in Staten Island day
Yep.
after day after day training with
Yep.
that kid, right? And
Yep.
building him up, and so I do right now we're not. I don't know why we're not having conversations, but I know he's going through a hard moment in his time. I really do wish that we could bring him here and have a conversation with him,
Right. Right.
you know,
What happened is when his father passed away. I think that's the most down for him, and he got hurt. So that was his down thing.
yeah,
I don't.
and I
It's,
understand.
I think that's what happened. You get depressed and stuff like that.
Uh
See, I
huh.
don't know the true story. I think after his pops passed away, it hurt him harder than anything. I don't know. I'm just saying what I think. I don't want to
Okay.
be exact, but he's a busy guy, and I respect that. Once in a while, I get in
And
touch
and
with him. He
and
gets back in touch with me.
and
You
talented. That kid is talented. He was always
he's
talented, right? Because you know me, and I
he's
know
a
you.
natural.
We don't take our time to teach somebody who's really not dedicated, right? And trying to learn, because like I tell people all the time, we have to take out of our time that what have we learned to be able to teach you also, right? What
Right,
we learned.
right.
And if we're not
You
going to
know,
take it serious, then it is what it is. But 9 times out of 10, that Santana was always with us, up and down, going to
yep,
gyms, going to, and I'm proud of him. I look at him sometimes now and I see him, AEW and all these stuff, which I'm gonna say right now, right here. At some point, I think he is gonna come out in WWE, and WWE will use him for something,
well, I
right? And
remember. Yeah, I remember when WWE was talking to him and his partner, and he said,
yeah,
he was offering him the same amount of money and less work. I think it was at that time, and
yeah,
Regal was calling him, and I was sitting at the gym with him, looking at him, and he was like, "Yo, this is Regal." And he said, "Yo," I was like, "You want to answer him?" He's like, "Nah, dude. I think I'm going to AEW because they go offering me the same amount of money and less work." You know what I'm
uh
saying?
huh,
WWE will use you. Look, man. WWE ain't for everybody, bro. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everybody love to get that money, but you could be in there 1 month and then be gone the next. You know what I'm saying? And if you got a
yeah,
great partnership and you and your tag team are burning stuff up, and you get to WWE, they'll break you up because they feel
yeah.
like it. You
And
know,
and
so
they'll put you to do gimmicks you don't want to do, and you got
but
to change,
right, right,
because this is what I tell people. And Dutch Mantel, right, Magic?
yep,
You definitely know Dutch Mantel. All right, so Dutch Mantel was the booker for IWA when I was there.
right.
And he would always tell me, yo, and at that time I used Rage as my name. And he used to always come to me, Rage, let me get you a dark match with, let me call Vince and get you a dark, and I'm like, nah. And he would always come to me and ask me, and I'm like, nah, I don't want to. And he's like, but why don't you want, like, everybody else would take this and run with it. And like you said,
I
right? I'm like, yeah, but I'm gonna go do a dark match. They're gonna take me. They're gonna take me out of what I'm doing here, where I'm good right now, and they're gonna use me for a couple of weeks, and then I'm out, and then I'm totally changed now. I'm not the
I,
person I was building, right? And I didn't want
I
to go
did.
through that.
I did that match, man. I never felt so naked in my damn life. You go to the garden, you
You
feel
did a dark
naked.
match with them?
Yeah, with Anvil. Anvil gave me 2 shots, and the rest was his. He got my ass handed to me. But it was so great to go there, but it was so bad. They put you in that Andre Giant the thing where, and one man boot was hanging out and everything. I felt so naked, bro. Right? And you don't
Wow.
get no music. They send you down the ring, and people looking at, because at that time people be coming into the garden. The garden used to have the shows at
Okay.
7 p.m. or 8 p.m. You're out there already, and you don't even get
Uh
music. They
huh.
call you by your. They used to use your last name for your first name and your first name to your last. So I was Morgan Andrews. But when I went out there, man, I felt naked. And truthfully, it's and
Yeah.
you don't. And truthfully, when I was there, I didn't see the crowd. It was crowd there. The only time I know the crowd was there when I was crawling my ass back to the locker room. But otherwise, it was a crowd there you don't see. And and the most scariest thing is, who the fuck are you? That's what you never want to hear.
Uh-huh.
That was a scary thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it
but
is.
I gotta give credit to Iron Mike Sharp, man. He helped me get around, and he taught me things that I mean. Everybody telling him he's a. See, I don't like the word jobber because
Okay.
it's not a real thing. It's a job, but you're not a jobber. You're a worker, and he was a
Uh-huh.
worker
Right. Right.
that put people over. Somebody called me a jobber for Titans. They're like, "Oh, you like I am my shop." So I was like, "You trying to say I'm a jobber?" And it was like, "Yeah, you're always losing for these guys. You lose to the worst workers and so on and so on." I said, "Well, I look at me like Johnny Raj. You put me in the ring with
Uh-huh.
somebody, see how good they are. If they can
Mhm.
pass me, then they're a little better than the promoter sees. That's how I look at it. You know, um, that's the way it
And
is.
exactly that's what it was, right? And I see it like, okay, you can call me a jobber, but at the same time, I see it that I'm the bar.
Yep,
They trust me enough to be that bar to say, all right, if he could grab this
exactly,
bar or surpass it, then he's a talent we could use, right? And
exactly,
and and I understand what you're saying, right? Because a lot of times I'm a heel, so a lot of times I'm always going down, right? And I'm always putting the other guy over. But that's what makes me happy, right? I'm doing my job. My job here is to make sure that the baby face gets his pop when he beats me,
or even the hill. Somebody got to lose,
or even the heel, right? If he's going over.
right?
Well, my job
Right,
is
my
to
brother.
accommodate him now.
Somebody in the company got to lose. You
Mhm.
know,
Exactly.
if if you look at ECW, Tommy Dreamer was that.
Uh huh.
He didn't win all his matches. He was the guy that you bring in. They work you out to see if you're good enough to stay in the company. If you're not, they let you go. Now, ask your opinion. How you think? Did he listen? Did he do this and do that? I think it's like that. A lot of people look at me as I'm a jobber. Look, I'm 60 years old and I still get in the ring, and I'm blessed by God to do that. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, right. Because there's not a lot of people who are able to last so long in this business, right? Because it takes a toll on your body, and
yep,
the traveling and the restless nights, and doing exercises in the morning, training in the afternoon, doing the show, not
right,
sleeping, going out, right? There's a lot that goes to it, and everybody just sees a 20-minute wrestling match,
yep. Look at it.
right?
Everybody
And they
makes
don't see what we go through.
yeah. A
So,
lot of people make
Manuel,
fun of this.
quiero hacerle una pregunta, y entonces, si puede, vamos a coger unos minutitos, pon el
El promo.
promo y venimos ahora. Magic,
Okay.
we'll be right back. We're going to take a little break.
All
Don't
right,
go nowhere.
Oh.
I'm out.
Okay. I have a question.
Yes, sir.
When you wrestling, you always wrestling by with only you, or you have a tag team partner?
Oh, I had tag team partners. I did singles. I started doing, I did singles a lot, and then I did tag team partners. It's so easier with a tag team partner. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, but you
You
take a little
know,
break.
yes, 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 yes.
You got a little air. You know.
You always have that guy. I used to say there's Janetti, and then there's always what's his name? Shawn Michaels.
Uh,
Janetti was the guy that always takes all the beatings, and Janetti was the star. Yeah, I had a lot of partners. My the best tag team partners I had was Stuber. We was the Charlotte Wrecking Crew, and a guy named Big Dan when we became the Fat Boys.
mhm.
It started off with Biggie Biggs, and then Biggie Biggs left to do his thing, and then I wound up teaming up with Big Dan, and me and Big Dan traveled a little bit, but me and Stuba traveled all over the country with the Charlotte Wrecking Crew.
Okay.
I helped.
Yeah.
I had.
I, question I'm going to ask you, Magic, because earlier you had said something about type, right?
Yeah,
In other places, Andrew Morgan Magic has
yeah,
been champion or number one contender.
right.
Why is it that I never see you in Titan get a championship or any opportunity? Is there something going on there?
Your question is good. I don't think I'm a Titan. Maybe they have a standard for certain people for Titans. You know,
Okay.
maybe I'm not the guy they like. I'm just there to fill in spots. But to put other guys over to see if they're good enough. I don't think they ever think of me being a contender.
All right.
That's the way they are. I think everybody has a chance to be a champion. But maybe of course I'm too old and they don't want an old guy as a champion. I don't know.
Okay.
The bookers are
Well,
different.
I don't really like to use the word old. I like to use the word experience, right? Because
Yeah,
I would rather have a person that has experience, even though he's a little bit older, to be the face of my company, right, and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, you have to also have fresh faces also be the face of the company at some point. But a lot of these companies now are not doing that. They're not using the veterans in the right capacity, right? And
right.
so tell us what you think about that, right? Like, because that's a big problem that veterans today are not being taken seriously,
Right, right. I
when
think
they should be.
you're right. Some variants they just use them as a worker, don't give them the respect of what they deserve. It's like I see a lot of guys have been in the business for years. Like I went down to we went to Canada, not Canada, we went to North Carolina, right? And what is it, Kingston, North Carolina. And I ran into a couple of old cats that I wrestled years ago, and they was asking me to take the title. That was the great part. That was asking me to take the
Okay.
title, and I was like, no, because the guy who lives here. He's local and he's been around for like 30 years, like in the business. And I was like, yo, let's give it to him. This is his hometown. Let it he'll build me up because this is my first time there.
Okay.
Let me build myself up. So I was in the three-way. So it was two hills beating up a baby face, basically.
Okay.
And it went pretty good. And then the hill turned on the hill on at the end, and he got the belt. That's the way I like things like that. Don't bring me in to be a champion. Let me build myself up. Let me get the crowd to get to know me. I'm old school. Build me up. You know,
Exactly.
and then I
Exactly.
appreciate them. I appreciate them because they're talking about me going back down there again, and they want to book me
Okay.
a few more stars, and they want me to put the belt around me. They thought I'm that good. I had a lot of, look, I'm wrestling in August against SWF number one day champion.
Okay.
Against the champion. So I've been wrestling against champions. And maybe it's like, oh,
So
magic.
now that you said SWF, what are your thoughts about SWF and Rob Fury?
Yo, I have nothing really bad to say because the man was nice to me. Yo, look, man, the dude threw me 35 years of magic. I was his two-time tag team champion, and I had another belt he gave me at one time. I don't even remember what the belt was. You know, I'm his Hall of Fame twice. I was a Hall of Famer for that company. So they showed me all the
Okay.
love and respect. So I can't really, I can't shit on nobody down there, and in
Hmm.
these companies down here, everybody fighting each other in the Jersey Shore area. I'm not the guy, I feel like, yo, if I say your company's sucking, you're working for them. What I just called you? I said you suck.
Uh-huh.
Um, I don't believe in that. I believe that everybody should get as much wrestling they can in whatever company. Sometimes it gets kind of boring when you see this guy on this show, and this show, and he's a champion on this company, this company. That's a privilege to be a champion of all independent companies. Take all the belts. But sometimes you gotta let other people shine too.
Okay, but is it really? Is it like are cause, see, because there's the way I think about it. There is no way you are that good that you have 18 different title belts from 20 different companies, right? Like you got to be sucking up somewhere.
Nah, I think if you got that kind of clout and people are paying tickets to come see you put asses in the chair and they want to see you lose a belt, hell yeah, they'll come and pay that ticket to watch you get your ass whooped or watch you win. Depends who they put you
Okay,
against.
but wrestling is wrestling, right? Don't get me wrong. Yes, I've
Yeah,
held a couple of titles, right? I was never the person to need a belt for me to do my job and for me
you
to get reactions the way I want to get my reactions, right?
right.
Um, but there's wrestlers out here that if they're not a belt collector, right, they don't function. They can't say, oh, I'm a wrestler, right? Like, oh
There's a
wait,
lot of guys
sorry,
like that.
I'm sorry.
There's a lot of guys like that. That you know that Magic owns his own. I own Funhouse. Do you see a belt around my waist? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I don't. And most of the time, I don't wrestle on my own shows. But once in a while, I'm like, I gotta save some money. I gotta get in this ring. But do you
Okay.
see me go? Have you ever seen me go over?
No, I was at one of your shows last time,
Yeah,
right?
you got mad.
And
I watched you.
we did have a discussion, right? I'm gonna give
Right,
a little insight on people. Magic and
right.
I were talking one night, and he told me the plans of how a match was gonna finish. And if you want to finish the story, or you want to tell him what I said to you, or if you want me to say it,
It
right?
was my
And
sixth.
this is because of respect, Magic, right? It's not
Yeah,
because I'm trying to steal shine. I'm trying to no. This is
no,
based out of respect. Is what I did out of respect towards you because you deserve it.
yeah, yes. You came up to me and said, "Nah, that finish ain't. I'm not happy with that finisher." He's like, "Yo, this is your birthday. This is your show. Nah." And you said, "Don't worry, I'll handle it." And you did what you said you was going to do.
Right? And I took that finish,
Yep, and Benji looked it good. I don't care
right?
what anybody.
And
I'm not
and that
kissing your ass or anything, but what everybody said. For the last couple of shows you've been on, all you did is be your man. You did what you had to do.
right?
You know.
That's called being a true professional.
Yep, and you went
So
in there, wrestled. And you did what you had to do. See, we didn't get that Benji. I'm gonna knock you out and punch you in your face type of guy. He was quiet, he was calm, and he's a worker, and I
right.
respect him for that. You know what it is? I think you know what it is. I hooked him up with the rice and beans, and then that chicken,
That's what it
and
is. Arroz con pollo.
Yeah,
yes, that's the name of it.
yeah. Uh,
Say it.
I
Say
uh,
it with
yo
me,
they
Magic. Say it with me. Arroz con
what
pollo.
also pollo.
yeah, that's the right to me. Okay.
Magic. Look, I have
Yes, sir.
I have a curiosity for you. You have wrestled I saw somewhere with 253 different wrestlers in your career.
Right.
Name one person that you could think of that you never had a one-on-one match with.
Ooh. Wow. I can't say Raven because I wrestled Raven. You know the person I really wanted to wrestle before he passed away? Fucking Kamala.
Oh,
I've been in the ring with Jerry
Uh,
Lawler, I've been with Dustin Rhodes, but I always wanted to wrestle Kamala with his gimmick.
yeah.
Yeah, I would sell
Is,
the
is,
shit out.
is, is it
Sorry to
now?
curse, but I would.
No, that's fine. This is the hot spot. We can say a bad word here and there once in a while.
You know,
It's
and
cool.
truthfully,
Listen,
everybody would hate me, but
I'm only telling you this. I'm only telling you this because I wanted to see who you said, right? And Kamala is legend in its own right? And anybody would want to wrestle Kamala. But me and you never had a one-on-one match. In so many years that me and you have been wrestling and have been in locker rooms together and traveling together, me and you have never had a one-on-one match.
because I love
ooh.
you and respect you.
Is it because you're scared of losing to the greatest wrestler of all time?
Dude, I'm not scared of losing or winning or anything, bro. I respect. See, I don't want to beat you up. I want you to go in the
Look,
back of the locker
Magic,
room and
I
like
love you so
Magic.
much.
Magic hits me too hard. Magic. You see? See, I don't want to beat you up and then have to pay you and then say I'm sorry to you.
Okay, that's what it is. All right.
Ooh.
See,
Nah,
I love you so
but
much
we
that
will.
I will take up
We
a
will.
stupid roll up so you can beat me. You heard what I said?
Yes, this is. I would never. I would love to
I
wrestle
said
you
I
then.
love you so much. I'll take a stupid roll up so you can beat me.
I would love to wrestle you, but we gotta do it old school.
and
You know how we do it old school? The beginning, the middle, and end. The rest we call in the middle.
the rest was called up there. Yep. If you are a
Yep.
true professional wrestler, you don't need to go through your whole
From
match
step to
15
step.
times
Yep.
in the back.
Uh,
Yep.
Like, what are we doing in the
Well, so,
beginning? Where are we doing the double
exactly.
down?
so,
And what's the ending?
so call it the
Yes.
match in the ring.
Call it in the ring. Yep. Because when you
Yeah.
go practice in school, when you're in school and you're working out and wrestling, don't you call it in the ring? You don't sit in the corner and
Yeah.
say, "Yo, we gonna do it." You're already calling in the ring. Yo, take this clothesline, dude. Duck my clothesline. Give me an arm drag. You know, stuff like that. It's already called in the ring when you're doing it. You just got to know how to call it. A lot of guys like to call it in the corner. People see that too much. While I'm beating
Yeah.
you in the middle, I'm hitting you down in the middle. I'm calling the call right now. I'm gonna throw you in the ring. Duck my clothesline. Come with yours. Come with something. I'm gonna take the
I,
bump.
Uh-huh.
I think it's some easy when you wear a mask because people don't see
Oh,
it.
you are 100% right. In a match, you can talk shit all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yo,
I don't like masks. I get we had the other
you should.
guy that we were
You,
talking to last week.
you wear a mask.
Um,
What you talking about?
who me?
Yeah, that gay chin strap you got on.
Don't you start, bro. I know where you live.
All right, I know where you live too. It'll
It
take you
only it,
2 hours to
only-
get to my house. By
it,
the time you get to
it
your
only
house,
take, that's what I was gonna say. It only take me 2 hours to get to your house.
by the time you get to my house, you'll be tired and tired. You want to eat, and I'll beat you up by then.
I'm not gonna want to fight. I'm not gonna
And
want to
then
fight, right?
but I'll feed you too. I make
um,
my son. I make my son and his girlfriend cook you some buffalo wings
Ooh.
and French
really.
fries.
Um,
That's
Okay.
all they eat.
what is one memory or any story that you remember about you and me at some point in our career when we were traveling?
I remember the what was it, BWF.
Oh,
Remember that one? It was that BWF wrestling against each
Yeah,
other,
the
and, and you supposed to
that
pin me.
uh-huh.
And you, what was that shit? You put me on the shoulder. You supposed to give me the Samoan slam, and I was like, dude, how the fuck I get on top of you? Remember? You went for the Samoan
Yes.
slam, and I wound up pinning him from the Samoan slam. I was like,
Uh-huh.
dude, what the hell you doing for me get on top of you? Let's start laughing at him. Didn't you pin me? You worked me that
No, I
show.
didn't. No, I
That
didn't.
show we did for
I think that was it. I think that was the only thing we did in that whole match.
we did the Susucio versus the Black, whatever it was called.
The Black Mafia, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Black Mafia versus was it Susucio?
Yeah, I think it was.
What group you was in? I know I was in the Black Mafia. What group you was in?
I was with the Sucios, maybe.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then we had match. Yeah, you wrestled me. We didn't call
So
nothing. You just went in.
when I met you, Magic, I wasn't the troublemaker. Um, I
I
didn't get
you,
here as Rave.
but you wasn't even called Bungie the Clown. You was called you got it written on your tattoo.
Yeah, Rage, Rage.
Rage. Right. Well, I met you as Rage, and then you told me you did
Uh
a
huh.
clown gimmick, and one day you came in with a clown gimmick, and I thought that was the
Yeah.
hardest thing in the world, and then you didn't ever did it after that.
Well, I want. Don't get me wrong. I wanted to continue to do the clown gimmick, but I wanted to
Yeah,
do it where I wanted him to. You know how there was Doink the
you
clown,
want to be
right? Doink
evil. Yeah,
was
you want
good
to
and
be
he was
evil.
bad, but
Damn.
I wanted to do it darker than Doink.
Yeah,
Like I
I'm
wanted to do
telling
it like
you, dude.
really darker.
Yo, dude, you do things somebody that haven't seen you get booked. You know what I'm saying? Look at Sonny Kiss. Sonny Kiss wanted to
Uh-huh.
wrestle like everybody else. And I said, Sonny Kiss, you should be who you are. And look at him. He traveled around the world. Don't do what
Yeah, I
everybody
know,
else
right?
do. Bring your personality out, you know? Me,
Yeah,
I always wanted to be a fat model comeback. You know, I wanted to be the
yeah.
model comeback. I was the fat guy. You know, I wanted to be that guy
Okay.
that the like I'm like Sub Zero, but I'm the fat guy. Don't go practice. I'm eating food in the back. You know, I'm
You
like the
you were
cook.
you were the fat you were the fat guy from Street Fighter. Remember the one that went like that?
That was still. I was trying to be more like a model comeback at that time, when I started putting on the gear. Because remember, I used to just wear
Um,
black. I used to wear a hoodie and all that. I used to be called a carjacker.
okay,
You know, we was
that's
called the back
crazy.
alley boys, but another partner was the cat burglar. He used to just put on a stocking over his head. Me, I had the hat, the sweatpants, and walked around with a bat, with a black and yellow glove. You know, I was calling myself the carjacker, and he was calling himself the cat burglar, and that was
That's
Wayne Wu.
crazy. So Magic, what what do you have going on? Like you have Funhouse, right? Which is your company.
Yeah,
You guys do some shows. So
yeah,
tell people what you got going on. You know, what's your next
uh,
match? Where you gonna be at?
well,
How they can contact you? You
yeah.
know.
Well, you can contact me on Funhouse is on the Facebook. It's Funhouse Wrestling on Facebook. You can contact me as Andrew Morgan on Facebook. Um, our plans are now is doing another show, but we're going to try to get Asbury Park. And what we do
Okay.
is have we're going to try to work with the mayor that we can have the kids come in free and have the adults pay, because you know people have 4 or 5 kids, that's $20 a kid. So we try
Yeah.
to cut that budget down where we can have kids to come in, enjoy and stuff. Last show we did, we sold hot dogs for $2 because people can't afford all that. Or you buy two hot dogs, I think it was 2 for $5 with the soda.
Okay.
You know, it was great. We had all the fillings and stuff, whatever you need. But we try to keep the prices low that everybody can afford it. It's a shame that people can't afford things like that. If I have 3 kids, man, that's already $60 for 3 kids, and plus food in that
Yeah.
place. So we're trying to
Yeah,
keep.
and not counting one as the adult, right? Because as the adult, you're gonna waste a little bit more money on yourself also. So
Exactly.
that
So
that's
we
that.
try, that exactly what you said. We try to get the adults to pay $20. I wish we can get a free show that the mayor or whatever pays for the company itself. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying? But it's not going to
Yeah.
happen because you got to pay for ring rental, you got to pay insurance, for the building, and some buildings want you to pay insurance. I mean, pay their rental for it. But usually, if you get the mayor involved, you don't have to pay for anything. He takes care of it. The
Oh,
mayor and
okay.
council. So if you make it, I try to make it a big thing. I try to make it a city thing. I try to get the police department involved. I try to get the fire department involved. I try to get the community, all the community, children communities, the YMCA, the Boys and Girls. I try to get them all involved that they could talk, explain things to these kids. That
Okay.
they have places to look at. You don't have to be scared of every cop. When you're in deep trouble, they gotta understand what snitching is. If you steal candy from from a store, yeah, that's snitching. But if you see a girl getting raped by a grown ass man, that's what you have to talk about. Because the
Uh huh.
next vibe be your mom or your sister. So let's get that guy out the streets. That's my thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Otherwise, kids got to know when things happen, you can go to a cop. It's not snitching, it's going to a cop. If your mom's getting beat up in the house and I can't snitch, that's bullshit. Somebody beating up your mom, you're supposed to be the protector. If you can't protect her, you
Uh
got to
huh.
get somebody to protect her. So this is what we try to teach.
Well, that
And we need firemen to teach kids when a house get on fire what to do, how to avoid it. A lot
exactly.
of kids
Yeah, because
don't know that.
you hear all these different types of news of kids getting shot, kids doing this, kids getting burned in a place, right? And in reality,
Right,
nobody's teaching them anything. No,
right,
it's come to a point where people really don't care about the next person, so they're
right,
not being taught how to defend themselves and how to
right.
watch their back and do
And,
stuff like that.
and, a lot of parents work and they don't have time you got to make a living. You can't be with your kids all the
Uh
time.
huh.
I understand that, but we got to get programs where they can go and be comfortable and safe at. You know what I'm saying? That's why you need the YMCA's, the PALs. They have more energy to spend more on that than be in the streets and hanging out and become drug dealers or whatever. That's what you got to keep the brain. You got to keep the kids' brain com- come going and
Yep.
communicate with other people. Because if you don't have nobody to look up towards, what are you gonna do? Look up to that drug dealer, that gangster. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It,
and and
this.
and wrestling is also a good tool also, right, for those kids that are out there that might be watching now.
Yeah,
Wrestling, baseball, football, any type of sport is,
exactly.
is is a way of not getting in trouble. It's a way of wanting to be somebody in life and accomplish something, right? And wrestling did that to me too. When I found wrestling, I was in a place where I was in trouble sometimes, right? And then when I started fighting, I was in trouble all the time. So sports gets you dedicated. Sports gets you respect,
Yes.
uh, inner respect, right? Not respect towards anybody else, but inner
Right.
respect for me as a person, right? So I admire what you do for kids because I do come out every time you tell me, yo, I got a show. I'm there 99.99 100%, right? Because I
You
know that
always
what you are
100%.
presenting,
You're
what you
there.
are
100%.
presenting, uh-huh. And I'm
I
there
never.
because what you're presenting is something good for the kids, right? And I'm all about the kids, and if we're there to help kids, then that's what it is. So thank you, Magic, for taking your
I
time.
gotta have the last question.
Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Uh, what is the good and the bad match, and with who?
Oh, the bad match. Oh,
The good and
I
bad
had that.
with who?
All right. Woo, I had a bad match. Oh my god. I like all my matches, but one of the matches you sit there like, oh, this was horrible to yourself, but you're like, you try. I had a match with this guy, Steve, Steve something, skinny guy, really skinny guy, and we was in Brooklyn, right?
Okay.
We did a Brooklyn show, and and he was horrible. I didn't think he even went to wrestling school. Because you know what? When somebody runs the ropes, this is how I test somebody. I'm like, yo, let's hit the ropes, right? And I watch him hit the ropes. And once I see you don't hit the ropes right, I know it's going to be bad. Especially when the guy grabs under the ropes, the hold on, you know what I mean, and his neck on, he's not a wrestler. He's not a wrestler. And then he tells me he's a jujitsu expert. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, I picked up judo. I was like, dude, judo from that is a different story.
Yep.
Now
Yeah, it is.
I had a lot of great matches, but the greatest match I had was the easiest match in the world was wrestling. What the hell is it? After Junior. It was
Oh,
easy,
okay, yeah.
simple. It was great. I had the crowd in my hands, and it's from my hometown. I was in Staten Island, and I had to be a bad guy. I was like, "Who's the heel? Who's the babyface?" And Gino talked to me and said, "Well, you're the heel." I said, "Okay." I made him the greatest fucking day in his life. I said, "You don't have to work too hard. I'll do all the work." Exactly what I did, and he loved
Yeah.
it.
I wrestle,
Man,
and I'm gonna be real with you all. That whole family, right? Like that whole Samoan family is amazing because I
oh
wrestled
yes,
Lloyd. I wrestled Lloyd Hanoi that we're trying to get him on, right? Which he's the
to
third son of Alpha.
Japan. Didn't he go to Japan
Huh?
now? Didn't he sign up with
Yeah,
Japan?
he's been doing stuff in Japan. He's been doing stuff in Germany. So he's been a little bit busy, but we're gonna get him at some point here.
Yo, you know
But
what? You gotta get Jacob. That's my brother, man. Jacob.
Fatu,
Yeah, Jacob's out too. You gotta get him. He's my brother, bro.
we're like, well, we gotta try to get him, and if you could get him, let's
Well,
go get him.
it's hard to get him now. He's fine. And you gotta get Sean. He's not related to the Samoans, but he is a
Okay.
Samoan. He's one of the kids from Samoan from Staten Island. He does a gimmick called the Island Boys or Staten. I mean, Samoan guy.
Oh,
Which
okay.
one's Sean Maluda? Sean
Okay.
Maluda. He trained with all of them. He's like their son, but he's not related to them in a way. But he's like a son to them.
Okay.
His family, and that kid is awesome. If you ever could see him, if you ever read him up, he's awesome. You know, I gotta get to Massachusetts.
What
That's
are you doing in
that's where the
Massachusetts?
wrestling is at. That's where your boy is at.
Santana?
No,
Who?
Roman, your partner,
Timu?
your man right there, and
Oh,
he's
I'm
in
from
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Yeah, I'm from
Oh,
Massachusetts.
him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh, okay.
Yes,
yeah.
we gotta try to find a building out there to do a show out there.
Oh yeah.
We
We
could do
gotta get him in
something.
the ring.
We could do something.
We gotta get him in the ring.
We could do well, actually, I was thinking, right, like we should do something where we could plan like a toy thing for December, right? And put up some boxes somewhere and collect some toys, and I don't know. We'll do something for the kids. You know how this is.
I used to I used to do that a lot. I used to go to the hospitals on Christmas, and
Okay.
it was. I used to go out there, give little toys, wrestling adults candy and stuff, and it became so bad. My wife was like, "You need to stop," because every year I come back crying. Watching kids that they were like, "Oh, he's not going to make it. You're lucky to be talking to you for 2 weeks." And a lot of kids, they
But
just
you know
leave it.
what? You know what, Magic? Those moments of them
Yeah, I'm getting
having
ready to tear.
us
I'm
as the
getting ready to
wrestlers
tear
there are
up, man.
magical, right? Like,
I'm sorry, man, because it's heartbreaking, man. It's heartbreaking to
yeah,
see a mother or a kid's going to die. It's heartbreaking, man. I'm sorry, man. It's just heartbreaking
it,
when I think about it.
yeah, I know it does suck,
That is the
but
saddest thing I ever faced.
we give them probably that last joy they're gonna have before anything happens. So
Yeah, it all started with.
you're a great man, Magic. You have a great heart.
Thank you. I
I've
try,
known
man.
you for ages, and you as a friend are a tremendous person, and I thank you for never changing with me, even though sometimes I'm an asshole and I'm a dick.
I
You're
just tell you,
always there. You're always there to support. You're always there to give good words, encouragement, and I love you. You're my brother. Thank you for
that's
taking your
it, man.
time for being here with us.
Yo,
It was a pleasure for
you think
me, for
we
Manuel, right? Manuel, si
can?
tienes
Me
algo
ask you,
que decir, vamos a ir
if,
terminando.
No, that's okay. Thank you.
if I
You be here
if
with
I
us.
book a show, would y'all two come down?
Yes, I
Would
will.
y'all both about your boy? Will y'all both come down and wrestle?
Yes, I will. Yes, I will. You book a show, I will be there.
For both of y'all.
Él dice que si él va a tirar un show y nos va a invitar a los dos para ir para allá.
Vamos a hablar de eso cuando terminemos aquí.
Dale. All right. He says, yeah, we'll talk about it when we finish.
All right, then, definite, man. Love you guys. Thank you for the opportunity, man.
Thank you.
So,
I
Magic,
appreciate it.
before you leave, please give the people that are watching right now a little bit of words of encouragement, because we need that this time. So, whatever you want to say, the floor is yours. Either Per Manuel no vamos. All right.
Yeah, man. You know, it's always going to be hard times in life, but you keep going, and it will become a success. Never give up. You know, we all get hard times, but we just got to go fight through it for at that moment. But sooner or later, you be more proud because you did it and you fought through it. That's how I feel. You know, we all got that down time. You know.
Yeah. And that's what pushes me too, right? Like I'm not gonna give up. And this year, I've gone through certain things in my life, right? And I'm still standing here, I'm still breathing, and I'm still pushing. So never, like
Yeah,
Magic said, don't ever give up, people.
never give up. Yeah.
Bueno, mi gente,
All
este
right.
programa ha concluido. Thank you, Magic, to be with us. Bueno, mi
Thank you
gente.
very much. Love you guys. Thank you, man.
Bueno, mi gente, nos vemos el próximo jueves a la misma hora, a las 7 de la noche, por aquí, por Boricua Live Radio Show, el Punto Caliente a las 7 de la noche por YouTube. Buenas noches.
Peace.